On Saturday, November 2nd, starting at noon, Kevin Williams is helping sick kids by playing video games. He needs your help to raise $1,000 for the CHIO Foundation. Donate at extra-life.org/participants/347875. The following podcast may contain immature content created by Danny Parkhill and Michael Walsh. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
I almost got in a fight with Ronald McDonald.
Why?
True,
What?
True story.
Ray, what? Let's talk about this. What happened there?
He wanted to touch me, and I don't let clowns. I don't let clowns touch me.
He wanted to touch me,
and like. So Dan, apparently, I guess my whole plan to classy up this show with poetry last week didn't quite work out.
Why is that?
Well, apparently my poem wasn't classy enough to class up our dirty show.
Yeah.
So this is attempt number 2. I'm not going to do poetry this week. I figured maybe I'll class it up by reading literature.
Oh, I like it.
You know, I guess
pretend some Shakespeare, some Donne.
I definitely thought of Shakespeare. I thought of Frost. I thought of a lot of guys, but this is what I'm going with. Excuse me. I was lonelier than Kunta Kinte at a Merle Haggard concert. That night I strolled on into Uncle Limpy's Hump Palace looking for love. It had been a while. In fact, 365 had come and went since that midnight run, hauling hog to Shaky Town on 110. I had picked up this hitchhiker that was sweating gallons through a pair of Daisy Duke cutoffs and one of those Fruit of the Loom tank tops. Well, that night I lost myself to ruby red lips, milky white skin, and baby blue eyes. Name was Russell.
Where is that from?
It is a song. It's actually lyrics of another Bloodhound Gang song called "The Lap Dance is So Much Better When the Stripper is Crying."
Oh, you know what's funny? I've heard that song. I haven't heard it for a very long time.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's decent.
But your literary scholar sitting right here is definitely not Danny Parkhill.
And Walsh about to break him up with that furry shit.
I have no idea what the that was about. But this is The Lasting Mark. Thank you very much for being here. This is the first half hour of The Lasting Mark, which means, Dan, we promised our Lord and Savior to try to behave ourselves.
No, you know what? I'm calling him out. I'm calling him out because...
No, listen. The guy's going through some life changes. I've gone through a lot of life changes. We're trying to help him out during his life changes while I eat an olive from my Caesar. Sorry.
Nice.
We're going to try to help him out. He doesn't have the time to sit here and censor our dirty asses for.
So don't censor it, is my entire point. And now it's on me. I don't even want to censor the thing. I'm censoring it.
Wait. You have to censor it?
Yes, I have to censor it. Because
I don't want to make work for Adam. I want to make work for you.
This is crap though, because it was his idea to do it in the first place, and I was like, dude, is this really necessary? He was like, well, yeah, we want to separate our patrons, which you can sign up for at patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca. We want to separate our Patreons from the non-paying people. We want people to pay for the privilege to hear us say the word. You know, so but then he got busy.
He's got a point.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you why he's got a point, because it is a privilege to hear me say the word.
Yeah, fair enough. But and then he got, as you said, life has gotten in the way for him, and in good ways, I should add. But I mean, I don't mind helping him out. But it's like, okay, so now I don't want to censor the show, and I'm censoring the show. Come on.
So here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to, that way, to save you some work and to save Adam a heart attack, we're going to try to be okay in the first half hour. Stick around for that last half hour, though, if you're a Patreon. And if you're not, get on there, because we have some stuff to talk about. So we're going to do things backwards. Usually we do our main topic last. But you guys are going to get to hear that first, because I don't think that we're going to be as angry in our main topic. We won't be angry at all, because our main topic is Chinlock related, and I can't be angry at Chinlock.
Of course, you can't be angry at Chinlock.
So stick around for the second half hour, because you are going to hear some.
I am going to go completely haywire on some bad individuals.
Well, Dan, would you say if you saw them in person that they would get their wigs split?
I will beat them up. Beat them up. Break their necks. Break their necks. Beat them up. Beat them up. Break their necks.
That's right. The listeners, you have spoken. We put out a poll, and you guys voted. It was a landslide for Mark Henry versus Swoggle, which kind of broke my heart. I really wanted to talk about Swoggle because I love what he. Oh, we definitely will. But I love what he's doing on the indie scene. So that's what I wanted to talk about. But if you don't know why we're talking about Mark Henry this week, Danny, inform these unenlightened heathens.
Oh God, that one was raunchy. I apologize for that one. That one sucked.
Hold on. I can beat that.
Oh, Danny, Mike, you gotta class up your show. You gotta censor the words and
censor that.
I'm not censoring that at all. We are talking about Mark Henry because he will be at the Chinlock Wrestling event on June 15th. One of the many Hall of Famers / former WWE talent. Hall of Famers to be.
Come on, sell that shit. Where's the event?
It's okay, well, fine. It's in Kingston, Ontario, at the Leon Center, biggest arena in Kingston. June 15th, tickets are on sale now at chinlockwrestling.ca, or if you'd rather go to Tommy Dreamer's site, houseofhardcore.net, they're also for sale there. Check them out. You can meet Mark Henry as well as the man we talked about last week, Billy Gunn. Two of the Four Horsemen, Arn and Tully, Bret Hart, Swoggle, as we talked about, Tommy Dreamer. There's like 7 names I'm missing, but I'm gonna just move on. Tugboat, Jimmy Hart.
That's just the legends part.
Yeah.
Then you got the wrestling.
Yeah, that's right. You got
the guys from Smash Wrestling, and you got
just announced. So 3 matches announced so far. You mentioned the guys from Smash Wrestling, Sebastian Suave versus Brent Banks. They will be going in their third consecutive Chinlock show. A grudge match. Banks won 1, Suave won 1, and this is the rubber match. So that's going to be a great athletic show. I guarantee
absolutely.
you. Of course, there's the Chinlock Battle Royal, 25-person over the top rope Battle Royal. Names are coming out for that. As we speak, actually, they're going to be announcing more names this week. But guys like Ray Saint Jean, Cecil Nix, Double Dragon, lots of great independent names in there. And finally, we have CJ Felony taking on former Much Music VJ, current television personality on CKWS television, Bill Welichka, in a match. CJ Felony versus Bill Welichka. That is going to be actually pretty insane, because I know for a fact Bill's been training for it, and he's not messing around with this. This isn't an appearance where he's like, oh, I'm going to go, hang out and have some fun with some friends. No, he's taking this very seriously.
And Honky won't be there to save him this time.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. Honky Tonk Man's not going to be there. Well, who the hell knows at this point? Because that was a surprise last time. No one knew Honky was going to show up last time. So who knows?
Who knows? What else we got? We got the finals of the tournament.
Yes, that's right. The Cale Murphy Memorial Championship Tournament. Of course, we don't know what the finals are yet because the tournament is still ongoing.
Right.
In that match I just mentioned, Felony versus Welichka, if CJ Felony wins, he will automatically be put into the finals of the Cale Murphy Memorial Championship. So we'll see what happens there. But
of course, Chinlock champion Jesse Mack will be there.
Indeed. We aren't, and all of these matches announced, we aren't quite sure what she's doing yet. But she'll be there for sure. I can guarantee that.
So one hell of a show, and we are week 2 into our 5 weeks of Chinlock 5. Last week, if you missed it, go back. We talked about some Billy Gunn. This week, thanks to you guys and voting on the poll, we're talking some World's Strongest Man, Hall of Famer Mark Henry. Again, just like last week, we're not going to break down the guy's entire career because he's been in the WWE for 25 goddamn years. It would be impossible.
Hard to believe.
But I know. But we are going to break down some of our favorite moments of his career. Now, it wasn't until a couple weeks ago that I realized how much I slept on this man. Because I sat down and I watched that documentary that WWE put out on the network of him. And I sat down and I'm like, this guy had an amazing career, and I love all the moments they're talking about. Why do I not talk about him as a great more often? I don't know why, but I truly slept on his career my entire life, and I feel bad for it because I'm happy he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I remember when he first came out in the WWF, and he was, kind of stereotypical all-American, he's the world's strongest man, and he's from America.
Because he literally came straight from the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, okay, well, sure, that's nice and all that, and and then as he got later on through his career, like he didn't show me, and little did I know at that point he was, but he didn't show me anything that to me at that time was over the top cool, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
then we got into the whole sexual chocolate thing, which was a genius gimmick.
Thank you. I remember people saying, "Oh, he must be being punished. This is a punishment." I'm like, how many times have you seen somebody being punished with a great gimmick? That's not punishment.
Yeah, exactly. Now the only thing that one could argue was that the whole Mae Young angle was a little wonky. Which, you know what, that's a fair point. I think, given the time, I think that's an angle that had to be done in the late 90s, right? I don't think you'd get that over today, in my opinion. But
there's a few gimmicks he did, like the one with remember the one with the crossdresser?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh, sweet, she's got it.
Yeah, see that with today's more acceptance of the transsexual community, that would not go over well today.
Yeah,
that does not age well.
You could say that about a lot of gimmicks, though, that don't involve Mark
True.
Henry, right? You could say that about
True
China.
enough.
Remember back when China came out? It was like, oh, China wears the pants in the family.
Yeah.
Her must be huge.
Or cloudy.
Yeah, same kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
My personal favorite was it was Lenny and Bruce from TNA. I think they call them they didn't call them this, but it was like the ambiguously gay duo is what I used to call them. Where it was just like the most stereotypical gay thing you could possibly come up with. It was like, okay, now watch this man eat a hot dog. Stupid shit like that. It never get over. But anyway, back to Mark Henry.
Well, let's start talking about some of our favorite moments. If you don't mind, I'll start. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to bury the lead because I'm going to start with my absolute favorite Mark Henry moment. And that was his retirement speech.
Yes, thank you.
If the salmon-colored coat isn't enough to sell this, that is one of my all-time. This is where I started paying attention to Mark Henry.
Yeah, well, because he was so convincing in it, right? Because he hadn't shown up for a little while, and I think he was hurt or something like that.
I think he was, yeah.
And John Cena is out there. And he's like, "Listen, guys, we got to take a few minutes and talk about Mark Henry. He's a good friend of mine, and." He's coming to the end of his career, and he wanted to say a few words. And Mark Henry comes out there, and he says, "Listen, guys, I really appreciate everything," and it's genuine. It was so genuine where he says, "I just want to thank you guys for all the great years," and he starts tearing up, and you're thinking, God, what a career, right? And I remember thinking, like, man, what a career, that's what a great way to end it, right? And then he turns around and attacks Cena and says, "I still got a lot left in the tank," and you think, first of all, you're thinking, holy shit, that's so badass.
Yeah.
Because what a way to turn heel. And, you got over it, but on the second part, you're thinking, oh, you bitch.
Yeah,
how dare you make me feel emotion.
That finally made me into a Mark Henry fan. It really did. I didn't realize how good of a heel he could be until that moment. Mm-hmm. There was so much heat in the room. It was great. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Hall of Pain started right after that. And I think that's one of the greatest taglines in history, to be perfectly honest.
And the whole "that's what I do" thing.
That as well.
So effective. And it couldn't really, you could give that to, a whole bunch of people. You give it to a guy like Finn Balor or Seth Rollins or whoever.
Yeah. And
it wouldn't work anywhere near to the point that Mark Henry made it.
No.
Hey, this is a commercial for patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca, where you can get early access to episodes of your favorite WrestleMedia shows, get full uncut and uncensored versions of your favorite shows, and more. Don't want to hear this commercial on your podcast anymore? Sign up at our main event tier and get these episodes ad-free. Want to hear your own commercial here instead of ours? We've got tiers for that too. Visit patreon.com/WrestleMedia.ca and join the WrestleMedia revolution today.
And shortly thereafter, of course, he started a championship run with the World Heavyweight title. And I'm going to be honest, man, I think that's a championship run most people sleep on.
I agree.
He had a good title run.
I agree. I feel Mark Henry was one of those guys, and he was slept on for a good chunk of his career because there was always a couple people above him at every point in his career, right? There were always...
Yeah, he was never going to be the guy.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. Yeah. Even when they gave him the rub back in the 90s and they threw him in the Nation, he was just that guy in the Nation. He was never going to be The Rock. He was never going to be Farouk.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it was Sexual Chocolate, he was like, okay, well, yeah, he's funny, but he's not... Austin or Rock or Triple H.
Exactly.
Or, And then as he got further and further throughout his career, it was like, okay, well, now we have John Cena and, we have Shawn Michaels again and Edge and all these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as much as he was never going to be the guy, he was WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and he did a goddamn good job at it.
He did do a very good job.
I don't think it would have went well if he was a face champion, but he was sure as hell made a great heel champion. Because he came out and he destroyed everyone, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. It was a great gimmick, and again, it was one that was made for him. There are very few people who could have pulled off that gimmick, and Mark Henry really took it and ran with it.
I also like it when he chased the title. I'm trying to remember a time. I'm trying to think. I want to say it was like 2006 or 7 around there. He was feuding with Batista when Batista was the champion.
I think so. Yes.
And do you happen to remember? I think it was on SmackDown where Batista. I think it was Batista and Mysterio were facing Mercury and Nitro. In a cage match. Do you remember this?
I'm afraid I don't. It makes sense to me, but then
Mark Henry came down and basically ripped the fucking cage like a piece of paper.
I do remember that. Now that
in order to get in to attack Batista, it was amazing.
Now I do remember it. Yes, I do remember that match. Now that you mention it, and
I love moments like that.
Yeah, no, and yeah, and it's unfortunate because again, we're saying all this stuff, but it's like he was never the guy. you know, and maybe he should have been, you know, maybe he should have had that chance to be at the top and have that opportunity, but he never did. There were always guys in front of him. But again, bottom line is, hell of a career. You know, the Hall of Pain gimmick was fantastic. Sexual Chocolate was fantastic. I don't care what anybody says.
No, I liked all his gimmicks.
Yeah,
he hasn't had a gimmick that I've disliked. Even his face gimmicks, I've liked everything he's done. His way out was good. He did that thing in Houston against Braun Strowman. I've enjoyed everything the man has done.
Yeah.
Except for the stupid shit, like the hand was a little over the top.
That's a fair opinion.
And even the stuff that didn't age well. Let's be honest, we definitely laughed at it 20 years ago.
Yeah, well, exactly. It was stuff that was funny when we were, well, I mean, I would have been like 12, you would have been like 25, but
and then thanks. And then you get to his Hall of Fame, and it was one of my favorite speeches, if not my favorite speech of the evening.
I agree.
He had a great speech. It was amazing seeing his young son wearing that salmon coat.
Oh, it's so brilliant, so brilliant. Yeah.
No, it was a lot of fun, and then he comes and he does that. He does the swerve where he says, "I know this is my Hall of Fame, but I've got a lot left in the tank."
Yeah.
I marked out so hard for that.
I'm like, yes, he's not done.
I'm like, the only thing that can make this better is you putting John Cena through that podium. But yeah, so anything left to really talk about Mark Henry before we get to Chinlock? I mean,
yeah, I don't know, man. Hell of a career, and a great from all reports, a great guy and a guy who wants to give back to his community. Did you see the promo that he gave for the Chinlock show?
I have not. I've seen the Billy Gunn one, but I haven't seen the Mark Henry one yet.
So
no.
I think it literally just came out. Like, I think it was either this morning or last night or something.
Oh, okay. So let's make sure it's shared on our WrestleMedia, mind you, our WrestleMedia Facebook page, and yeah, we'll definitely be checking that out.
Yeah, but he goes into it, and it's the fairly standard. Like, hey, I'm going to be in Kingston, Ontario on June 15th at the Leon Center. And he's like, this is a charity event for, youth diversion and community living in Kingston. And he stops and he looks at the camera and he goes, a charity event. Be there. Like, sort of like, yeah, like you get your ass out here because it's for charity, right? Like, I don't give a shit if you want to see me. It's a charity event.
I'm surprised what he didn't say was, I'm Mark Henry. Okay, Adam Contant? Mark Henry. I don't know who I want to see get their wig split more at Chinlock. You or Adam?
Oh God, I would pop. It's not going to happen, but I would.
I'd like Jan to book the two of you in a handicap match against Henry.
We would job within moments, and I am okay with that.
All right, so that is our favorite Mark Henry moments. Let's slide on into the news of the week, sir. We're not quite at the half-hour mark yet, but
8 minutes. I swear, as soon as I got the opportunity, I'm teeing off. Like, so we're
gonna save your big news and the male part of the body of the week. We'll keep those two till the half hour. So let's start off with this week's Raw. I want to talk about something. We've seen a bit of a transformation, I guess, an evolution in Bray Wyatt's character.
Yeah, he. It's good timing because I hear Slipknot is looking for a new drummer.
Well, yeah, Chris Fenn did just leave the band, so
yeah, exactly. Bray fits right in.
Yeah, definitely.
I joke, but I mean I'm dead serious. When I saw I saw the clown mask, I guess it's supposed to be, and I thought that's a Slipknot mask. Like, this dude needs to join Slipknot.
Well, Well, it's funny because that's what you think as a metal fan, and of course that was my second thought because I'm also a metal fan. My first thought, because I am I'm a hardcore comic book fan, was that it looked a lot like the Joker in the Death of the Family arc, where the man literally tore his own face off and sewed it back on.
Nice.
So that's what this looks like to me, which is amazing. So
I do heavy metal.
I do think it's an homage to both those things. I think it's an homage to his love of comic books. I think it's an homage to his love of heavy music. So and of course of horror films. You get a lot of that in there. What do you think? You think those people who kept saying it's not creepy enough will shut the up now?
Yeah,
or?
it was so here's the deal. So first of all, I disagree with those people in the first place, because the fact that it isn't creepy is what makes it creepy, right? Because you've seen Bray Wyatt, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey guys, I'm running the children's show," and he brings out these puppets, and they're like, "I murdered my best friend," it's like, that's creepy. Like, you got the goth looking girl that looks like she just drank someone's blood. Like, that's creepy as hell, right? Like, It's sort of like my wife is, and I shouldn't be saying this on the air, but I'm going to say it anyway. My wife is scared of clowns, and my wife is scared of mascots, right? Like, she once...
I get the clown thing, I truly do.
She once almost fought a giant hockey puck. Like, it's bad, right?
Dude, I almost got in a fight. You can ask our friend Ray about this. I almost got in a fight with Ronald McDonald.
Why? What?
True story.
Ray, let's talk about this. What happened there?
He wanted to touch me, and I don't let clowns. I don't let clowns touch me.
He wanted to touch me,
and I mean it. Him and Ray are sitting at McDonald's, and they're teaching each other secret handshakes, which is creepy enough. And then he's trying to get Ronald McDonald to do the uncensored symbol. Like me and Ray's symbol.
Yeah.
We're trying to get him to do that for camera, and Ronald's like, "Oh, I don't know." And he puts his hand on my shoulder. I just look at him, I'm like, "You're not going to want to do that." I look at Ray, I'm like, "I'm going to have to leave soon." But he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop touching me, and Ray's pissing himself. Yeah. Wasn't fun. I'm not a fan. I'm also not a fan of clowns, but I have been working for the last year to get over my fear, because I'm really looking forward to the new It movie.
Oh, that is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. And,
but no, screw that. Your wife almost punched a hockey puck. That's better.
Well, that hockey puck was I don't want to say his name, but a local independent wrestler. So the hockey puck went over to say hello.
Well, the great thing is,
Steph
your wife
know that. Steph just thought it was the hockey puck trying to. So,
and your wife is almost as tall as a hockey puck.
Yeah,
so it's fantastic. All right.
Anyway, Bray Wyatt. That's
Bray Wyatt.
As hell. But yes, it got dialed up a few notches this week. I like it, and I've said this every week. I like, I'm excited to see where this goes, right?
Me too.
It's getting people interested in Bray Wyatt again, right? Now, will WWE f*** this up? Probably yes, they will, because they've managed to do it every other time with Bray Wyatt. I don't know what the hell their problem is, but there it is. But I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Yeah, no, me too. He's always been one of my favorite talents ever since his NXT days, and I do mean Bray Wyatt's NXT days, not Husky Harris's NXT days. I definitely slept on Wyndham Rotunda up until his days as Bray Wyatt. But ever since he brought the Wyatt family out, he's been one of my favorites. Yes, there's been ups and downs. I mean, that the House of Horrors match he had with Randy was not anything special. You know what I mean?
I got what they were going for with it.
But I loved the Ultimate Deletion he did with Matt.
Yes, that was great.
You know what I mean? So I wish we got more of that. But his tag team with Matt, I think, fell stale. To be perfectly honest,
I agree.
I didn't enjoy Babyface Wyatt. I just didn't. But that's just me. That's just me.
I'll agree with that. Bray Wyatt is such a character that it's incredibly difficult to do babyface unless you write it near perfectly, and I don't trust the WWE creative team to do that. So
neither do I.
Yeah.
So one more thing from my end before we get into your stuff. I'm getting real sick and tired of people blaming everything. I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. Everything squarely on the shoulders of Vince McMahon, just because he is a character. What's your thoughts on this wildcard rule? Because I don't think it's not nearly as bad as people are wanting to make it out to be.
I think it's lazy. I think it's.
It's just a way to get.
World.
No, it's not. It's not even close. And the next day, like, I had friends coming up to me going, Vince McMahon has lost his mind.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, why?
Okay, well, no.
Why?
Give me a minute and we'll tell you why Vince McMahon has lost his mind. Oh, my God. 50 seconds.
We're not there yet.
50 seconds, and I'll tell you why Vince has lost his mind. No, but in this particular case, I don't think it's the end of the universe. I do think it's a little lazy. I think it shows a lack of foresight from the creative team to think, hey, we don't have any stars on our main program now because we're moving them all over to SmackDown Live to appease Fox. What are we going to do? Well, instead of, building characters and, writing a enthralling television show, let's just, bring the characters we already written back and, we'll do it that way. It's stupid. I don't like it.
It's not the greatest thing, but I don't think it's nearly as bad as people like. People have been trying to get out boycotts and petitions to get rid of Vince McMahon because of this storyline.
Okay, we're over half an hour. I'm saying it now. Danny proceeds to say nothing but nice things about the Saudi Arabian government and doesn't at all think it's hypocritical that WWE chooses to do another show there. You can hear the uncensored version featuring words like nice and, of course, love at WrestleMedia.ca/Patreon. Oh!
So, anything left before we get to next week?
I don't think so, man. I'm spent.
You're
all
spent.
Sweaty.
So, we're not going to put up a poll this week. We already decided who we're talking to or talking about next week. Next week is our Tommy Dreamer episode.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We're going to be talking to Tommy fucking Dreamer. Not only will he be at Chinlock 5, June 15th in Kingston, but his own indie league, House of Hardcore, is the co-promoter of this event.
That's right.
So
this Chinlock show would not have happened without Tommy Dreamer. I think it goes without saying. Jan is very well connected in the business. Tommy Dreamer is another level. So I mean, he was a guy who basically, as soon as Arn Anderson was fired, was like, "Hey, I'm doing this charity show. Want to come on?" So it's Tommy is not just a fantastic worker and not just a legend in the business. He's also one of the greatest minds in the business, and I think that's underrated. But we'll talk about that next week.
Absolutely, our full Tommy show. I'm looking forward to that because for once you'll have two podcast hosts treat Tommy with respect, not like Edge and Christian, really. who just make fun
Tommy!
of him. So until next week, my kiddies. I, of course, this whole time was not Danny Parkhill. Was I Michael Walsh? With all the words, I think I might have been Michael Walsh this week. Oh wow, maybe. But this was the lasting mark. Until we see you again, hugs, kisses, and that fantasy that I have where Jesus Christ is jackhammering Mickey Mouse in the doo-doo hole with a lawn dart as Garth Brooks gives birth to something resembling a cheddar cheese log with almonds on Santa Claus's tum-tum. Love you.
This has been a presentation of WrestleMedia, where everything is wrestling and wrestling is everything.